like that, but they had 2 carries, Void, right? Void and Gyro, something like that. And they did try, and they did have some opportunities, but in the end, it's just way too hard.
Okay, well, they meant to ban Gyro, they picked it, and then it was actually TI the game that got them eliminated, which is kind of funny because Aiden and I have like we were very similar. Like he was like the next generation of Han captain, right?
Okay.
And we both made a rather egregious misstep at our first TIs. But hey, we don't need to bring that up. I know Insania would hate it if I did that. It's like it doesn't matter. Moving on.
Pressure situations, these things happen. Yeah,
Yeah,
We see the same bans actually, right? Pretty much.
Okay.
Yes. Cyber Legacy, the same
bans
ones.
could be legit.
Yep.
And we've seen all the bans now, that's correct.
And I'm glad they're on the bottom of the screen because I think that people may have complained if they only were able to see them in the candle holders.
Ah, okay.
Because it's cool and it's one of those things where for a bit, if everyone's like, wow,
looks great.
Value. And after they're like, God damn it, give it to me like I always wanted. And now, there we go. Tusk Lycan initial picks. This is a hell of a hero. Even though Lycan got nerfed a couple of times, it's just this same concept of you crush structures. I think staying on map and the ability to deal damage to towers and objectives is just so valuable right now because all these teams have become closer and closer in that skill gap. So if my team needs 1 or 2 opportunities to just take a victory and you need like 6 or 7 team fights, I'm always going to favor the squad that has that pushing power.
That's so true because you can't make a lot of mistakes versus Lycan. That's the problem. The hero is just comes online way too fast. The build order of Necros into Helm of Dominator is very strong at the moment. It's cheap as well, and
you
make
boots.
one single make one mistake, you're just done. We've seen in NA they even play it on offlane. Like Misery was playing it, and he did really well.
I actually like it a lot as an offlaner. I think it fits better into that Beastmaster role. Whereas if you have a carry Lycan, you kind of need the perfect 2-3 positions so that you have that proper amount of playmaking power. It's a tough matchup. You're going against Ember Centaur, so the mid-game team fight and their ability to hold towers is going to be really high on the side of Cyber Legacy. But Empire Hope, to his point, you know, if you just forget about the Wolf for a minute or 2, he'll be hitting your tier 3. And I've seen Lycans kill a tier 3 in like less than 7 seconds. And that's...
At the same time, they did respond fairly well to the Lycan. You have the Ember Spirit and the Centaur. Centaur in the laning stage.
Get your own material, Lizard. It's day 1. You're already copying my notes.
I was gonna expand on it in a very good way. Don't hide away. Don't worry. But I'll let you have this one, whatever. Like Ember Spirit later on, if you
just
like
build
you
it let
properly,
me have that last
great.
pub match we played. What?
No, nothing.
I'm going to hope these games continue between you two as well. I want to see the final form of it all.
When I see Lizard on the other side, I just say, team, we got another plus 30 coming our way. Just don't throw. He keeps picking Marana.
Yeah, the best... Okay, no, let's not go there. Let's not go there. He's a...
You've been baited into this so hard.
You missed the arrow.
I didn't miss it. I pre-shoot the arrow so you can stun. So it hits for the maximum amount of damage and the maximum amount of stun. And he's like, why don't you wait for my stun? I'm like...
You missed the arrow. You were going to miss it.
It's fine. It's all good.
I'm just saying, if you don't communicate, then how am I supposed to know? It's a team sport.
Communication is the key to success.
That's true. That's true. I didn't want to talk to him. I was like, oh my god, I have Kyle in my game.
You knew you had to work with him as well, so you were just thinking...
My plan was literally to stay silent the whole game while I'm playing with him.
And
but then I realized that if I ping something, my nickname shows up, and I'm like, screw it, it's done. What can I do? Oracle is really good here. You have, it's a good way of dealing with the Ember. It's a good save that opens up many heroes for you in the second picking phase. At the same time, Cyber Legacy's Wyvern is another good answer to the Lycan.
It is.
Because literally you kill yourself. The moment you try to spawn those Necros, the Helm of Dominator, and you go in, the Wyvern just crushes you with a curse.
Oh, I don't even know what.
No, it's just funny. You just run in and you kill yourself. And it's not techies, so it's not it's not conducive to victories. Oh my god! Also, I'm so sick of techies. I get all of these people. They don't look. I'm not saying that everyone in the world should speak English. I'm just saying that when you're techies, only speaks a language that you don't understand, and starts yelling loudly when people run over his mind.
It's pretty much always.
Always.
Like there's a couple of them. I know them. There's a guy nicknamed Travoman. I get him.
Yeah, I played it. Yeah.
Literally, I played against him. The next day, I see on YouTube, Travoman owns Lizard. With techies, and it's literally my face with techies like suicide blasting on me.
You can probably make a compilation of Lizard getting owned just on a daily basis. In fact, that's a good idea, any content creators at home. I like... The Underlord's a bit awkward. I don't know if I feel this draft at the moment, because both Oracle and Tusk kind of have limited damage potential. Now you have Lycan Underlord, very walk forwards type of lineup.
Underlord pretty much is good here because you can lane it versus any of these heroes, versus Ember and Scent, and you'll do fine. You can stand in mid lane as well. And you have double root versus Ember, which is really good if you go for the Atos build. And because of that, it's pretty decent.
Yep. I love
Besides that, I agree with you that the damage is lacking.
Look at the team fight coming out from this Cyber Legacy lineup. It's just, you know, the way Lycan lineups want to play is to get aggressive, take your towers early on, abuse that minion pressure. Whereas now you have 0 point. You have Wyvern, you have Ember. You have no real lockdown for Ember, even if you can purge off the shield. Again, yeah, Root isn't even something you skill as an Underlord until like level 10 at times. And you have a defensive save in the Wyvern plus AoE combo break, and then a Centaur Kunkka, who will both have 2,000 plus HP by 15 minutes, sitting on the tower with catch available.
Overall, I really like Cyber Legacy as a team here, and I value them higher than Empire Hope. I think they just have more experience between
and more of your
them.
friends.
However, at the same time, you are pretty much drafting everything to counter this Lycan, and there's still a last pick for Empire Hope, and they can completely swing this the other way, pick something else. Lycan doesn't have to be your win condition, he just has to be the one that pulls all the aggression and the attention on him, which he has already done in this draft. So there is a chance for Empire Hope to completely outdraft him with the last pick.
What would you pick? What would you go with it?
There's always a chance.
One chance.
One opportunity. I would say that if you're Empire Hope, you need something that hopefully wins the lane and needs to be able to like make plays. Because right now, Oracle isn't really going to be effective in this game. You can purge off the Ember Shield, sure, but this could very easily be... Have we seen 4-position Ember Spirits at all?
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Huskar was really a pick for Empire Hope.
Yep, that's a great
Sadly,
ban.
it's been banned out.
That's the sort of hero they needed. Something that can actually like push the tempo and utilize the save of the Oracle. With Death Prophet out of the pool, with Huskar out of the pool, even Troll out of the pool, there aren't as many options left.
Yeah, you can't really go any Meepos, any Brood Mothers. There's way too many good heroes versus you as well. The same heroes that work versus Lycan usually work well versus those heroes too. But it's going to be difficult for them. There is There's a Storm Spirit that's kind of alright for them. Overall, there's not a ton of catch behind, besides Winter's Curse, right?
Yeah, Ember though, Kunkka, I would not want to play Storm in this game. And not to mention then your entire lineup takes too much time to come online.
Yeah.
Another concept I really see influencing games is, do you have a core hero or two preferably that can that's more experience based in their damage output. They don't need items, they just need levels, and suddenly they're online. Leshrac is a perfect example because you care way more about, do you have your level 10, your max edict, your max stun, than you do, oh, do I have that, I don't know, like a Kaya finished. Problem with Storm is you need like that second item BKB before you can even engage.
You come online later, that's definitely true. I just hope that Empire Hope didn't put all their hopes into that Huskar pick, because there aren't many picks that completely round their draft up.
Yeah, I could see them. I'll say I really don't know.
Seems like a hole they're trying to dig themselves out of where they put too much focus on it.
Yeah, this draft, there's no cheese available. This entire draft's lactose intolerant. There's no way you can pick a Meepo or a Brood into Kunkka, Centaur, Wyvern. It's wild. So, really unsure.
Oh, there you go, Bug.
Love it. It's solid here. Limited catch. You can eventually have that Ags build up and running, and it gives them the ability to play fast. This is all about mid-game tempo. I really, you'll have one of these strength heroes sitting on the tower that the Lycan's trying to push. You have teleports ready, Wyvern behind pushing the dead lane. It's just a very cool concept. Rudimentary, but Cyber Legacy's very balanced lineup certainly has the edge here, and I can't think of something you cheese them with now.
Not only is it very balanced, they also have these heroes that you can't really know what their laning is going to be. Like you don't know for sure. This Weaver can be 4, it can also be your carry, Ember as well. They answer with the Necro.
But Necro Underlord perform the same function is the concern. All three of these cores are so slow, and for them to get ahead, they're going to need to take towers in the mid game and at least one advantageous team fight. I just don't know if I'm buying it. And as the game continues, it gets easier and easier for the Cyber Legacy lineup to find kills. They have easy get out of jail free cards.
They're playing with an Ember that usually, what's your first item that you buy on Ember right now? It's a Vessel.
Yep.
And with that Vessel, you will be able to deal with the Necro. However, he does have an Oracle behind him, so they did get that combo with the Oracle. Necro and Oracle is very difficult to deal with. And they don't have too much versus Necro. But yeah, I would also just trust in Cyber Legacy's draft a little bit better. It's just more round.
So they've come around with the stronger draft potentially and how they use it. But for looking at Empire, what kind of needs to happen? What do you need to see from them? Faster play to come out?
Definitely, they have to play fast. That's literally their only option. Later on, if you're just trusting this Lycan to carry you, that will not happen. Maybe if you outplay them strategically, pretty much if you rat them, you can win with Lycan versus anything if you manage to rat them. But you're playing into a Wyvern. And that's very difficult to do.
Yeah, their lanes have to do well, specifically Necros. He needs to crush this Kunkka in the mid lane, and in theory, take that advantage for early towers. Before 12 minutes, you want to take at least 2, and then just sort of play all 3 lanes with these 3 cores. If you can't do that, the game gets very difficult, because if Cyber Legacy have the whole map to move with, they have way more kill potential, and it's just going to become impossible for Oracle to save everybody on his team.
So real quick, guys, I'm going to ask you before we get into the game, where are we going on this first one?
Cyber Legacy.
Going for the same card, just nodding away, Cyber Legacy.
Yep. I hate to agree with Lizard out loud. I'm just going to shake my head.
You don't agree with him in game, but you can agree with him here in our comfy seats. That's fine. We're going to go get into our first game here. Let's get straight into it. Let's bring it on. We had a redraft, but now it's time to get into all the action.
Thank you, friends. Sunsven here with Cinderin. Cinderin, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little disappointed that we're not going to see a Chaos Knight first pick. I was really looking forward to seeing the new meta.
I thought the CKAM opening was excellent. Thought it would be really good. Did you watch them in the studio a bit, Shannon?
Yeah, it looks amazing.
It looks really good. I feel like Kyle looks like he wants to sell me an XO rum. He's like endorsing it, and I would buy it, dude. I would, if I see that ad with Kyle trying to sell me rum, I'm like, holy shit. You can picture him sitting with that glass right there. He has really the look.
I love it.
He definitely fits the theme very well, I agree. But Cinder, I think you're getting off on the wrong foot here. We don't want to talk about alcohol at what is 7 in the morning for me. It's too early, friend.
Oh, well.
Maybe after this best of 3.
Anything is after 11 o'clock, no matter what time of day it is.
That's
just the other 11.
Technically true. That's very true. Thank you,
fine. Okay. So yeah, these drafts are really different. If you want to talk about the game for a second, I'm up for that. So yeah, what the panel is talking about, the 2 drafts are really fundamentally different in how they operate. Like the Radiant lineup is very teamfight centric with lots of stuns and mobility, and the Dire lineup is kind of a ball that wants to just be invincible. So the timing that the Dire are looking for, they want to get some auras, they want to get mech on Necrophos, they want to get maybe a pipe on Underlord, and then they're looking to collapse on everything together. Whereas Cyber Legacy will try to just destroy them before they reach that point. I think there's a really dangerous mid-game timing here that that Cyber Legacy need to play around and be a little bit careful with.
You're saying that the 5-man Deathball lineup is back, Cinder, in the TI 4 days. There's no Dragon Knight, though. He's replaced by Lycan, it looks like, who's been a very popular hero as of late. Despite all the changes that have been made. What do you think about the new patch, by the way?
Just the gold reduction one?
Forget about the gold. I know that's more important. I would really want to hear your expertise and your knowledge and your feedback on
the last patch
strength, agility, and
that. Yeah.
Yes, the attribute change they put in 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And have now completely reverted it back to what it used to be, the original days. Can barely remember back so far.
I think I've been thinking about what stat got hurt the hardest, and I think the biggest nerf overall right now is for agility heroes, just because a lot of them got movement speed to compensate, right?
True.
They got movement speed nerfs because they got the agility move speed, and now that that's gone, you see a Morphling mid-game level 15 with treads. He has 322 move speed, and you're like, that's really fucking slow, okay?
Good.
Strength Heroes lost Magic Resists, which I think is the second biggest nerf, and then Ints are the third for me. They lost some spell power. I think a lot of the Intelligence heroes is actually not the biggest of deals. A few select ones it matters on a lot, like Zeus
Bottom lane, Cinderman. We're going to get first blood. It looks like Weaver will be the first to fall here. Did not have his Shikuchi up quite yet, so first blood going the way of Team Empire Hope.
Apart from that, I will talk quickly about the gold change because it's like the talk of the town right now with the patch. I think people are focusing more on that than the stats, to be honest, and it's because in the meta right now, people are speculating, okay, now that creeps will give less gold and kill streaks will give less gold, it will be maybe less snowbally, but it seems that it's so far has had a little bit of the opposite effect where, well, if you get off to a good laning start, the team that's behind can't really easily come back from ending kill streaks. And since the creeps are less value in gold, the heroes that come online earlier from either just levels or one key item now have an extended timing. So a great example of that would be, let's say a hero like Weaver just gets treads and 2 Wraith Bands or whatever. If there's a core on the enemy team that needs to farm, say, an Echo Saber, just to put it on edge, then Weaver maybe has 3 minutes where it's clearly stronger than that hero, whereas before maybe the timing would be 2 minutes. So it's why you're seeing these teams favor a lot of these heroes that don't need much to fight, and then they're just trying to run the game, basically top lane. Last hero will be fine. Yep, he's fine. Trans could have gone for Purifying there, but it wouldn't have been enough. So.
He's going for a very early Ring of Health, which he can purchase here in just a moment. I mean, it's a really weird time at Dota, though, because it feels like we're in an experimental phase, almost, right? They even said they're going to be patching stuff based on what they see as bottom lane. Like, and kind of getting stuck inside the shards. We'll have to try to wrap around. I said Lycan, but I mean Ember Spear. I mean, they look exactly the same, let's be real.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, completely identical. What are those scythes, by the way? I don't think I've ever seen this set before.
Yeah, it really reminds me of Lycan's claws.
It actually does. I'm not even memeing right now. His Wyvern got very low on the top lane.
That's a problem.
We'll be good to go. Hoof Stomp does connect on the Lycan. The actual Lycan, not the Ember Spirit pretending to be Lycan. All this change to regen as well has taken a toll on some of these heroes, but you're still seeing the Centaurs of the world come through. Underlord as well, who's going for a Vanguard himself. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird time in Dota because we don't know exactly what to expect, because people were expecting something to begin with, and now we're seeing something kind of different. Maybe heroes that are better in the mid game will extend their lead a little bit better than before, but the comeback mechanic maybe not as rubber bandy as it used to be. I mean, the question is, how much data do they need to actually make an educated decision? Because it's not that many games, at least professionally speaking.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think, or rather, I'm very confident that the current version of the game is just off. And it's when you undo a 2-year-old change like the stat one and you change gold mechanics, it doesn't just magically get great. Like, it will always be an iteration process. So the game right now is damaged, basically, and it needs a bit of a repair. Right, but it's hard. It's hard to just instantly realize what the fix is and what you need to do. It's always, balancing has always been this like year-long process, and when you undo year-old stuff, then you need time again. Just like when you introduce talents or when you introduced, new spells or new heroes, things will always take time. Not
to extend this conversation, but do you think they would have made these changes if TI was still going to happen at the same time, which has not been announced yet, but we can assume it will not be happening. In August?
Oh, yeah, I think they still would. It's still 4 months away.
Really?
Ice Rock can easily fix that in 4 months.
Wow. Okay, that's surprising to hear, actually. Yeah, interesting. Well,
I mean, since it hasn't been announced, we have to assume that it's still a possibility, right? It's probably not very likely at this point, but...
I mean, very unlikely is an understatement in my opinion, but we can get to that another time. Kunkka, a little bit behind in terms of levels versus the Necrophos, but still overall looking pretty good in terms of CS. Identical, in fact, as top lane. Looks like Lycan's going to be taking a little bit of a beating here.
It is a very good start for Empire Hope, though, and I'm not just saying that because they're 1k gold ahead, but when you look at the game plan that we talked about, if a very 5-man heavy lineup comes out of the laning stage well and hits their item timing, they can be almost impossible to fight into for this Radiant lineup. It might, like, you look at these Radiant heroes and you're like, oh, there's a lot of teamfight and a lot of AoE. Oh, Kunkka gets sharded
lane. Scythe will not be enough, but Tusk is here to help finish him off. Looks like it'll be a trade thanks to the TP from the fake Lycan, aka Ember Spirit, in a set that I still cannot believe I've never seen before. Am I crazy? Is this like a super rare?
Why is he just dying
comes
to
back
tower?
in and will die of his own accord, apparently. So at least no XP went to the way of Kanka.
Yeah, well, now Big Num is very happy. Yeah, that's a great voice line for that. That was not expected to happen. He's level 5 on this Ember already, so now his game is really, really good. Yeah. Well, that was actually pretty important to get this guy balling a little bit. You look at the Radiant line, you're like, oh, there's a lot of teamfight spells, there's a good amount of damage, but if you imagine fighting into Pipe Crimson, for example, as Radiant, I don't know if you've got the juice to actually win a fight. Top lane.
I'm not sure if Centaur has the juice. He's going to get healed here for a moment. Did a lot of damage with his Retaliate. Already has 10 stacks on top of that.
Super high value Vanguard in this lane.
Yeah, that was 1v3 and he lived, obviously, with help of Wyvern, but still.
Yeah. Vanguard's amazing.
What do you think of this?
And Tusk.
What do you think of the Weaver pick this game, by the way? Do you like it?
I think it's fine. I don't think it's like outstanding, but he's playing against relatively limited catch.
Top lane Cinder and Wyvern dies.
Sorry, I answered your question. Won't happen again. All right,
how dare you talk back to me when I ask you things? Fine. Ember Spirit again.
Oh, worst
TP rotation, sleight of fist. Yeah, not able to connect with the Searing Chains.
Sometimes you just gotta be a little more patient. If he didn't rush those chains, but just waited until Oracle split from the Wolves, he would have got that kill. Got excited.
Well, maybe you could be the coach for one of these teams. At some
Absolutely.
Point,
Cyber Legacy, hit your spells. Uh-oh. Mid lane.
What a great coach. Yeah, mid lane. X marks the spot onto Tusk. Kunkka knows that Reaper Scythe is not available yet. Stampede being used to very little effect, but we'll get the kill nonetheless, taking some tower damage now as TP support comes in the form of Oracle. Courier is going to scout out Pikachu. Poor Pikachu now on the run. Will he get away? It looks like he will.
Lightless was so close to being in range for a Reaper there. It just came off cooldown when he was stampeded away on the Kunkka, so bit of fortunate timing. They didn't have that timing down to the second. You generally don't on spells, so just played on feel there. And fortunately, his feeling was perfect about how far you could go on the Kunkka, so nicely done getting out from that.
You talked about Centaur getting Vanguard. Well, Underlord has followed suit as well. Looking at the net worth overall, Underlord doing a little bit better in terms of the net worth, 400 above. Of course, he's being left to his own devices in the bot lane, so that should be expected to some degree. Anything? Yeah. What's the build on Underlords these days? Is there anything crazy? Like just the
usually
Pipe,
aura stacking.
Vanguard, yeah. So
Crimson Guard, Pipe, Greaves. If you do build other utility, Rod of Atos for catch is really good because you can pit into Atos into pit, then it roots twice. You can get, the classic like items that any hero can buy if it's good for the game, like Force Staff or Solar Crest, Lotus Orb. These like just game by game items.
I keep waiting for you to say Ags, but I know it's never going to be true.
Yeah, that's
very sad state of affairs. Oh. Tusk in the bot lane, looking like he wants to pull. They're spotting him though. Weaver level 6 versus the Tusk level 4 right now. Top lane, there was a little bit of action, but Centaur and Wyvern will be just fine. And the 10-minute comes, and it looks like each respective side will get their own. Tusk, Snowball, will mitigate some damage here. Actually gets the stun off onto Kunkka as well, but will follow suit into his death with the beautiful Tidebringer. So a 1-for-nothing exchange.
They also managed to protect their outpost. Empire were trying to steal it just in time, but getting their hands on Tusk slowed it down long enough that they did manage to control it at the 10-minute mark. So it was a 1-for-1 trade, I believe. Yes, the other outpost was controlled by Cyber Legacy. So 1-for-1. Overall, relatively quiet game so far, which, if I'm Empire, I'm relatively happy with that. I'm still waiting for my lineup to really kick in. Obviously, when I have siege creeps like this, I want to try to take advantage of it. So mid lane, you see them grouping up to protect the siege creep. They have the Necrophos with heals, they have Underlord Vanguard to frontline, and they're sending in the Lycan. So this tower is pretty hard to defend. Actually, more than likely just gone. And this is what that lineup wants to do.
Can they get a deny or not? Hit a Malice onto 3, and yes, they will get the deny.
That's true.
So splitting the gold overall. But like you said, that's the 5-man coming into effect here for Empire. At what point do you think they just fully commit to this strategy? Like, are they waiting for a couple of items from whether it be Lycan or Underlord or Necro in this case?
You're probably waiting on looks like Necro is getting Yule's first item. So they're going to stack all the auras on the Underlord, it seems. He's going to go the Greaves, and then I'm assuming Pipe. Pipe is amazing against the Radiant lineup, in my opinion. There's a lot of just constant magic damage coming out. Shukuchi's, Splinter Blast, Centaur spells, Kunkka spells, even Ember, Chains, Remnants. Every single hero on the Radiant has a lot of magic damage, so I think it would be a great item for them to grab. But yeah, they're waiting on a timing, clearly. Their lineup is limited in the sense that it can't really skirmish that well with anything else than Lycan, so you're kind of dependent on this guy to take initiative, whereas on the Radiant, you have multiple ways of making plays. The Centaur can catch, the Kunkka can catch, the Ember can catch. So they would be happy for the enemy team to split up and catch them off guard. And, well, so far, Cyber Legacy have stabilized a little bit. I think the top 3 net worth a few minutes ago were Empires, but now it's evening out a bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Kunkka and Centaur on top for their team. Kunkka will be going for a drums, as I'm hearing a Reaper Scythe being used to kill off the support Ember. So he'll be dead for 40 seconds.
Are you okay?
It looks like this opposite outpost will be taken now from Empire. And
Happy Jarara
have a dark
walked
rift
into the wrong neighborhood.
Yeah, that's a double stun into the double root. Gets off the Winter's Curse. And that just might save his life. Into the... Oh, here comes Tusk, though. Shards will miss. Oh, the Snowball will barely not get over the cliff there. And Wyvern looks to be living, actually. And the TP support now in the form of Weaver. Better be careful, though. There is an amalgamation of heroes for Empire, Cinderin.
Yeah, this is something we should probably...
Tower top.
Yeah, we should talk about this for a second, because the panel are also talking about this. The Wyvern versus Lycan matchup. It's a matchup I've played quite a lot myself, because I love playing Wyvern, and it's a classic counterpick. It's not necessarily that good of a matchup, actually, but you saw in that situation why it can be good. The Underlord was next to the Necro units and got cursed, and you can see that it's quite a lot of damage. But the downside for Wyvern is, if you're scouted by a wolf, Lycan can actually pop his ulti and send all of his summons on you, and you have 2 choices. You either die, or you curse his units, and then you don't have it for a hero. And the curse will be super short, because the units will kill each other very quickly. So as long as Lycan doesn't run his Zoo in together with a hero, Wyvern actually kind of has a hard time against this a lot of the time. You could say, yeah, you could just cold embrace yourself, but I mean, you're just delaying the inevitable then. Then you're getting mana burnt, and the moment you get out of it, you have the same problem. Like, Shapeshift lasts way too long. So it's a very skill-based matchup, a very, like, mistake-based matchup almost, I want to say. Like, Lycan needs to make a misstep or overextend with his team or whatnot for Wyvern to really benefit in that matchup. It's fine, but not as good as it used to be, because Lycan players got better and the hero got better.
The hero did get buffed. I mean, got nerfed in some ways as well. Lasts a little bit longer, but the cooldown is longer as well.
Yeah.
So it's a trade-off of sorts. But yeah, he's been a very, very popular hero. Hood now on Centaur will be going for a blink before actually finishing his pipe. And in terms of the pipe, like you were talking about for Empire, Underlord is not only finishing Greaves, but it looks like he's going for Crimson afterwards. Does this mean Necro should be going the pipe? Is he going to have to hold on to these horses here, Cinder? Because Centaur's getting initiated on, gets punched into the Nether Realm. Tusk with the Snowball. Looks like there's going to be more than enough damage, most likely. Okay, wait. Do they have the catch, though?
Yule?
They have Yules. It's not quite in range, though.
They'll
Centaur,
get him
no
here,
Stampede anymore.
Corner. Oracle's here.
Here comes Weaver. And they just need to... And there's the root. I knew they'd find the kill. I was
thought they were going to Reaper him there. But
yeah,
James just wanted it for himself.
Typical.
Classic, too good.
So going back to the pipe discussion, is it a good idea to put everything on one hero?
As long as that hero is in every fight that you're looking to take, it's not that bad. If you're playing against a hero like Doom, it's usually a problem, right? Because then you just disable all the items. But Radiant doesn't really have anything to prevent him from doing it, so it's fine. Oh, Jirara got jumped in the back. Here comes Lycan. Just don't run in your hero, bro.
Wyvern. Wyvern dies before getting off his ultimate. Does not have, actually does have buyback, but won't be able to get back to the fight anytime soon.
Oh, good timing on the stomp there.
Nice Centaur stomp onto Ember Spirit.
He should be okay.
Looks like he'll be fine, though. Top lane in the meantime, though. Lightless on this Necrophos is in a 1v3 situation. Usually this doesn't end up well, but it is a Necrophos, so he'll be fine.
Yeah, super tanky. Has the Yule as a solution to combo break against Kunkka. If he gets X marked, he can save himself before the pullback. He can play against slide chains to an extent. But yeah, I don't know, but to answer your question about the pipe, I'm not sure who's buying it, but I think it's a big mistake not to. If Underlord is hovering Crimson, yeah, I think Necro could buy it. Wouldn't like seeing it on Lycan. I think he has a lot of damage responsibilities in this game. Tusk isn't farmed enough to look at an item like that, so yeah. Necro's going Radiance though, for now. It's the plan. Maybe they don't think they need it. Oh. It's not like Crimson is bad here either. He wanted the Vanguard anyway, so it's a natural build-up, right? But
well, I guess my main question is, when you get to like the 25 to 30 minute mark, like when does the pipe start to kind of fall off? Because typically it's a generally mid-game item. As we're going to see the boat come in, will not go in because of the Tusk Snowball. Beautifully done. And Kunkka will take a death for himself here.
I mean, both Pipe and Crimson fall off, right? If they didn't, they would be completely broken. So both of them have like their upsides and their timing. The main thing I see about Crimson Guard here is I believe it does work against the Swarm, right? So it effectively protects the entire team during the duration from taking damage from the Scarabs, unless I'm mistaken on that. But I'm pretty sure they use regular blocking rules.
Is that really the main concern of Swarm, though? Isn't the minus armor the bigger deal?
If you're not taking that into account, I'm pretty convinced that it's just an inferior item to Pipe here, the Crimson Guard. Because what else are you blocking? A little bit of Slight from a support Ember. You're not blocking the Kunkka Cleave very much. You're not blocking... Like, it's the primary thing, right? It's Geminate attack and the Swarm, I would say. Maybe he just likes it because he has the Vanguard anyway, and then it's just a good build-up, and he can use it to protect towers, or... You know, it has that utility that's often overlooked in the item, its ability to delay pushes. But yeah. Either way, both items are good, so whatever they like more is... There's cases to be made both for and against both items.
And for Cyber Legacy, you now have a Blink Dagger onto Centaur. So you can start... Like, when do you want to start fighting if you're Cyber Legacy? Obviously, you're going to get pushed upon if you...
Ideally, you want it to already. It's pretty clear from your itemization. I feel like it says a lot about the patch that Kunkka is going this build, right? He went phase 2 bracers into Drum. No plan of Radiance. No plan of Halberd early on. He's just trying to get immediate value. But considering he bought those items, they haven't really pressured with it. And that means his early value items are kind of coming to an end in their biggest efficiency timing. Oh, Mastery, long TP.
Oh, really long TP.
Oh my
Holy
god,
crap.
they didn't
Oh
find
my
him in
god.
time. What was that?
If they had the vision that we had, I don't know, that was really weird. That looks very strange. But you're right, this is actually a very weird build from Kunkka. Typically, we see the double bracer into Radiance or something to that effect. Tusk is going to snowball, will connect. Does have some comrades in arms, though. Looks like the boat will come through. Will connect only on one hero, so the buff is going to be the main thing here for Pikachu as he runs away to safety. Nice searing chains onto a couple heroes. And Underlord has also come into the fray, trying to find something, but might have to settle for the tier 1 tower instead.
I think Cyber Legacy are wise to realize, okay, we had a moment earlier where we could have really tried to make fights happen. It didn't work. Now we need to get items. I think a team fight is... It's not unwinnable, but it's really difficult to execute for the Radiant right now. You need to handle a lot of trash at the same time. You need to kill heroes that are extremely tanky. You need to fight around Shapeshift. You're fighting against 2 saves in Oracle and Tusk. And all of your heroes are kind of reliant on doing this burst kind of damage. Once the boat runs out, you're very vulnerable. So, and you're also fighting into an Aegis. Like, this fight, I would really advise them to not try to take whatsoever. The question is, can they split the map hard enough that they aren't forced to take it? Because in the mid lane, Empire are doing the right thing here, looking to push in. If Lightless was paying attention, he might have ulted the Kunkka before he pulled himself back on the X mark. But Pikachu was quick.
Gets off the slow.
Look how confident he is on Necro. He knows
he does have an Aegis.
Untouchable.
You know. Yeah. He's literally untouchable.
I think even if he didn't have Aegis, he would have done the same thing. He has an Oracle behind him and a whole swarm. This fight is hard for Radiant. You need a good curse.
He's working for the Shivas as well.
Probably. Nobody is split push threatening you. You have both your bottom and mid towers, and there's nobody top.
All right, some damage finally being applied to Necro, but of course, he'll be able to heal up very easily on top of the Aegis that he still has for another few minutes. X into Torrent, and it just doesn't feel like they want to fight right now. But going back to some of the itemization choices here, Kunkka, I mean, I don't know how much this has changed in the last month, Center, but I'm used to seeing Double Bracer into Radiance into Halberd, which allows you to be kind of scale a little bit better into the late game. Obviously, Halberd has been like super ridiculous item, especially against a hero like Lycan. But with the drums, you're not fighting. You're going into Shadow Blade, which I haven't seen in quite a while.
Yeah.
Is that for like split pushing or something like that?
Maybe some... Yeah, again, the logic of avoiding team fights and trying to find skirmishes so he can catch people, he can push out waves more safely. I think there's some logic here that explains the Shadow Blade. I'm wondering if there was something better he could have got than this, or maybe not got the drum, right? There were other ways to go. I honestly wouldn't have minded seeing the Kunkka get the Vessel instead of the support Ember, because it feels like, you know, now they're finally going to get this Vessel minute 25 to 30, and then does it really matter anymore? There's going to be Dispels on the Dire aplenty. The Oracle will have levels, you'll have Necrophos with a Euro plus anyway, whatever. Right now. You don't have charges. You're playing into so many saves that if you want a Vessel, you need it quickly. So I think that time is gone now as well. And you can see, like with Cyber Legacy are trying to do, Palantimos is skipping waves top because they need to try to push the waves in because it's all they've got in this game. They're pushing top, they're pushing bottom. At least that's going well, but here comes the army. Gonna need to defend again.
Every outer tower has now been taken. Aegis still intact. Shouldn't be that much longer though, so they might need to play this a little bit safe and just wait for the next Roshan most likely. Especially considering that Shiva's is now complete on Necro as the Aegis expires, as I talk about it.
Yep.
So with Shiva's, that is, it's going to be even harder now to kill Necro. Super strong at the moment.
Yeah.
Second in net worth, along with Lycan on top.
Oh, they found Oracle
for a BKB. Yep, Oracle is found, and an easy kill. It is just to support, but at this rate, anything is better than nothing. So you've given up like every tower.
Getting a little bit of map access is really important. Like if you look at the aggressive warding from Team Empire, they've kind of cornered the whole top area. Kind of belongs to them, except there's actually a little Radiant Ward that barely dodged that sentry by about as little as possible. Still sitting near the Roche pit, but outside of that, Empire have a firm grip on the map. So what Radiant are looking to do here is if they find any sort of pick-off, they need to use it to get map control. Push out some lanes, try to get vision down so that you can hopefully make another successful move and get your map back. Right now, it's not looking too hot for them.
Well, they did get 2 charges now on that urn, soon to be Spirit Vessel.
That is true.
Very important.
That is true.
Centaur, though, now working towards his heart. I mean, he's pretty tanky, but we haven't really gotten to see much of it as they just haven't really gone for a lot of kills so far. And this is, like you said, much to the favor of Empire, who just want to snowball and take down buildings at this rate.
And you're deceptively fragile because you're playing against Necro. So always keep in mind that these tanky strength heroes like Kunkka and Centaur, not only did they lose their strength magic resistance, but Necro obviously is just a natural good counter. So they're weaker than usual in this game as well. With Heartstop Aura being magical, all of it adds up over the course of a fight. That they have that little extra or a little less resistance.
And with the Kunkka going like this kind of tanky build, I mean, not only does he have the double brace, he has Van Brace as well. Going towards a BKB now, on top of the drums. Your only real damage is Weaver, who is actually finishing the Mjolnir straight out of the gate.
Yeah, he needs some big damage items.
Looks like that is being delivered to him right now.
Would have made the pipe even better.
But yeah, for sure.
Oh man, it would be such a... I can't help but feel like it's a slight oversight on the Dire side here to not get a pipe, even now. If they see this Maelstrom build on Weaver, there's just so insanely much value here in getting that item. You should be able to push high ground. The way Cyber Legacy have been defending when they push into them is they cast all their spells on the creep wave and the creep wave dies. But if you pipe it, you Greaves it, and you have Oracle with Fate's Edict on the siege creep, for example, to block damage, then maybe you could have started getting access to racks. Oh, Shard's barely going to miss here from James.
Yeah, which will mean a Lycan ult has... Oh, maybe they'll find him, actually.
He's still in trouble. They need to save the punch here. Nicely done.
He does have TP. Yeah, they can just save that easily.
That might be a little early. That's still okay.
They got him. The crit Beautifully done. So all in all, an easy kill at the end of the day. So a 5v4, but wow, Weaver's actually coming in here as well, showing off the newly picked up Mjolnir, but not able to take anything for himself. And now time lapse is on cooldown. Kunkka using that. They actually see him. Yule's, yeah, slightly too early. Well, he's gonna.
Oh, they got the Oracle spell off before he went back.
Shivas will connect. There's the root. BKB pop though, and with that, Empire will be happy with that exchange.
And now we're back to this cornering of the map, right? Now they've got full map control again. From getting the Centaur kill top to pushing in mid and top, now Radiant have access only really to the bottom wave currently, and nobody's there. Fortunately for them, they have pushed it well enough that there's a little bit of pressure, but yeah, Roche is up. So now you got to choose. Are you going to try this fight, or are you going to give up Aegis and this time cheese? This will be high ground access. I refuse to believe that Empire can't use this to get in and get building damage. Look at Cyber Legacy. They're like, all right, we got to move out, boys. Got to go somewhere.
Yeah, they're not
giving up on the Roche. I think they are. They feel like they can't take the fight. I think it's an okay call to dodge this fight. I don't know if it's a realistic win when you have no vision or any control there at all against this kind of a balling lineup. But unfortunately for them, this call to go bottom is probably coming too late. Like they're not going to be able to put the pressure in time. And it's very obvious for Empire. They had this mid ward that saw the movement, so they know exactly where they are. They're going to run in and try to open a fight here. If they find the Centaur, that would be a great start for them. Weaver's going to back off. Maybe they don't find anybody.
Oh, I hear a chain.
Oh, Palantimos. Uh-oh.
Bignum on the side, but it looks like Weaver is going to be caught. Not quite enough for the Reaper side to get the kill itself, but he will die nonetheless. 50 seconds on the deck.
Oh, Wyvern.
Now Wyvern. Not sure. Will they find him? Shivas will give him vision.
Got a Yule.
And yeah, the cancel is enough. So that's going to be 2 easy kills for Empire as they just continue to bulldoze this game. Very methodical game from them. Even a Blink Dagger now picked up for the extra chase potential from the Necro.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's the one thing that they really need outside of, obviously, just more ability to force high ground. But at this point, they probably feel like they're strong enough that they don't need any more team items. They've got plenty of them. It looks like the pipe is completely bypassed. They're going to get a secondary catch item outside of the Blink on Necro. They're getting a Hex on Underlord. They're like, okay, if these guys are going to dodge us all the time, we're going to take the fight to them. We're going to catch them, and if we catch them, we're going to push high ground. However, they might not need it. Here we go. In we go. Mjolnir purged off instantly by Yule.
Double root. BKB is forced out from Kunkka, and they're not even going to try to fight this. It's actually kind of incredible. Kunkka is the highest level in this game. That surprises me a little bit. By a full level on anybody. But it just doesn't feel like he's contributing that much.
So instant Vessel Purge from... Alright, they're trying to open a Necro.
Yeah, still has that Aegis, of course, with plenty of time to go with it. Mastery in a little bit of trouble at half HP. Gets glimmered up.
He's gonna get healed
fine now. He's gonna get healed up. Haven't really seen any false promises this game because we hasn't really needed to use it.
No, he hasn't used it at all. Both Crimsons were popped there. Radiant Crimson is ready again, so we'll probably use it on the tower here if Empire try to go in and start something.
Yeah, and now Lycan has his ult, so they can definitely go ham if they want.
Oh, nice pit.
Triple pit. Necro going in.
Oh, that's a good curse.
Half HP. A Winter's Curse doing a lot of damage to Oracle. Looks like he's going to have to save that ult for potentially the next game. We'll have to wait and see. Lycan pops the ult now. Lightless at half HP. Actually going to go down here. That is the Aegis, of course. We'll be back very shortly. Lycan trying to do as much damage as possible to Pikachu, but it's just not going to be there. The buff from the boat is just too strong. There's the Necrophos ult finally being used, but double buyback will try to counter this action. It's a 5v4 now in favor of Cyber. Looks like Undying or Underlord finally uses his ultimate to full effect and will take back the majority of his team to safety.
Given the circumstances there, I think Empire Hope are pretty happy with that. Oracle was way out of position. Like, you cannot... It's just a flat-out misplay to stand next to 2 allied heroes against a Wyvern with Dagger. He needs to stand far behind the fight. All of his allies are tanky enough that he doesn't need to snap ulti them. He will have 3 seconds to move in and save anybody because they have Greaves Crimson to save the guy who gets gone on to begin with. So yeah, got caught off, but they end up still turning it into 2 kills and 2 buybacks. So a net win in the end for them. Did cost them Aegis and a little bit of potential there, but they got half the tower, 2 buybacks, and they know now there's a target painted on this Wyvern's back. If they can kill Wyvern, it's free access to the high ground. That's the one hero on the Radiant that's really preventing them from just piling up and going in. It's the biggest opponent right now.
I believe Lycan also ate the cheese. I believe it was on him.
They used both,
so
they did.
No longer have those to work with. Necro is working towards an Aghanim Scepter, which now affects, I believe it's Ghost Shroud.
Yes.
It reduces Ghost Shroud. Is that all it does, actually?
You get 2 charges.
Do you?
Right? Or did that get changed? I think the text is wrong, right? It gives you, doesn't it give you 2 charges and it deals double damage while it's running?
No, okay, no. It's not the double charge. I think it just reduces the cooldown and then, yeah, the double damage from Heartstopper while it's active.
At some point it got 2 charges. Was that like a suggested change or something? I mean,
I never remember that ever.
It says Scepter cooldown 10, so maybe I'm mixing things up. But it does double damage,
about
right?
that Scepter, by the way. Yeah, the
increases Heartstopper aura.
Heartstopper will do double.
Double damage, and you have 10-second cooldown. Okay.
But it only does double damage during your Ghost Shroud.
Right.
Of course.
Yes.
Still pretty strong.
Yeah, that's
especially with the
mixed,
Radiance,
I don't know,
which he does not have.
Head. Yeah, you get 1 charge for double damage. That's the 2x is the damage, not the number of charges.
Got it. That would be the most annoying hero in the game if you got double Ghost Shroud. You just always have it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of debatable how good this item really is, right? Like, you cut 6 seconds off the cooldown, which is nice. It's a lot, but it's also 4,200 gold. So you could have bought another premier item almost. Like
it's hard to say how good it is when you compare it to the old Necro Axe, which was redonkulously good.
Yeah, that was broken as fuck, though. Maybe like items that are fair to compare this to would be getting something like Octarine Core, for example, or Lincoln's. Lincoln's is not good this game, only really against Curse, so I don't think that's worth it. But yeah, I don't know. I've seen other Necros go this. I think I saw S4 buy it in a game on Necro. I don't remember which match that was, but it was recent. Maybe I'm underrating.
So basically, with Ags, you're able to use your ult. It has an uptime of 50%, basically, right? 45%, technically.
Yeah, so Shroud lasts 4.5 and 10-second cooldown. So yeah, almost 50% uptime.
I mean, I guess it depends on the line. Like, if you're worried about the physical damage, which right now Weaver is starting to do a lot of damage. He does have an MKB on top of this Mjolnir now. That is one way to die for sure. So having that Ghost Shroud available at all times is pretty value, I would say.
It's definitely a good item. It's just about how good. I'm not sure.
Well, we'll find out very shortly. Kunkka, still really no damage to his name. Gets off Torrent.
Hex.
Gets hexed immediately from that Underlord Hex that was picked up.
Oh,
and
the
he's
Curse
at half
just in
HP
time.
already. Curse just in time. Kunkka pops a BKB into a boat, which hits 3 heroes. Very nicely done. Here comes Palantimos with that ridiculous right click. Tusk is going to be first to fall. Buyback onto him, though. He's going to try to TP in as fast as he can. There's the Reaper Scythe finishing off the Ember Spirit. That's a support Ember, remember. So with that, Empire is going to attempt to fall back. Or maybe this is a fake back, in fact.
They had the right idea, I think, with this jump. If the Reaper Scythe got off before the Curse, they would have burst the Kunkka, and he doesn't have buyback. That would have probably ended the game right there. But on the money, Happy Jara got it off just in time.
Well, they're going to smoke, and I don't think they're going to find anything, at least not in the initial onset here. Because Empire's still in the same vicinity they were a few seconds ago after the fight. But yeah, Weaver looking really good with that damage. Of course, talked about this when he picked it up.
He's gonna have to hold out here, I think. But he has to play around X mark.
That's true. The one true counter to Dark Rift. Boat will connect. Here comes Lightless, though, with the heals.
They're keeping him up.
Expecting it purged off as well. Looks like the route onto 2 now. Tusk is going to keep Wyvern in place. Wyvern's ult wasn't up for 3 seconds anyway, but we'll find its way to the grave. 70 seconds, no Wyvern, no buyback. Yep. Pikachu will TP out to safety.
Something to keep in mind about this Necro Axe, of course, is that when you take this Ghost Shroud slow talent on 15, you have an insane slow on a low cooldown. It's a 54% AoE slow, 750 radius around Necro. That has such a high uptime. It's extremely useful for heroes like Lycan to just have way more time before he has to overextend to hit heroes. and it's good for
Underlord
Underlord
too. You take the Heartstopper talent at 25, right? To amplify that
you've
even
got,
more.
You've got to. You've got to take that. Some pretty serious decay against these heroes.
Yep, for sure. He will not get any hits off on the catapults.
Hype.
Trying to hype that as much as possible.
Well, they are trying to keep the catapults alive.
I will say the MVP so far, other than the Wyvern ults that we've seen, the Kunkka boat buff is actually
this time
insane.
they're not ready for the curse, though.
Yeah, and that is 140 seconds of dead time for my boy Kunkka. Fortification is there for now. They're actually going to jump on top of Tatake, who pops his ult with a BKB. See if they can actually finish off any actual heroes here. As Palantino's getting zoned out by the Underlord. Comes to Tusk with the snowball onto Wyvern. Still has the Winter's Curse. To be a pretty big kill if he's able to get it off, but no, it's onto the Necro. Is this enough to take him out? It's going to be close. He does get taken out. 80 seconds. Does have buyback. Dark Rift not in time, so Underlord is dead. And now Empire just dropping like flies. That is a third death to their name. Able to get out with a couple heroes.
They're not respecting this Wyvern. Like, it's kind of crazy to see them make the same mistake 3 times in a row. This time Oracle got caught in the curse as well. He was the guy who could have saved there. Could have saved the Necro with just a disarm on any of the allies hitting him or with some heals, but they got 3 or 4 man curse just massively overdiving. Even if Kunkka is dead, you always have this wild card when you're playing against Wyvern that you can be far ahead in the fight, but if you kill one of your own, the fight equalizes. So they're just not being very wary of their relative position with each other, especially the Oracle just coming in too close there. And Jorara, for me, has flat out single-handedly kept CL in the game for quite a while now. These 3 curses have really delayed the game a lot.
Yeah, without a Kunkka, you feel like they would just go all in on Wyvern or something.
They tried, right? So they tried to get on the Wyvern. They blinked in and hexed him with Necrophos, but I think it was the Centaur Stomp that kept them in place, and then they could curse chain on that. So nice defensive play from Cyber Legacy. But
and we're going to see a Roshan with an Aghanim Scepter. Is this a Centaur Ags? I think it should be. Oh wait, it's going to be an Ember Ags maybe. No,
Centaur.
Well,
okay,
he's going to hold it for now.
That is the biggest turning point of the game.
Yeah, Roshan is a huge turning point. Centaur has Assault Cuirass, which he's like apparently sick and tired of waiting for Kunkka to finish his, because Kunkka has the Assault Cuirass recipe bought already. So he's going to have to switch things up. Unfortunately, you can't use that for anything else, you know?
You can
I don't think they're going to Assaults.
They're giving Torrent Storm to Kunkka, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Okay. So Kunkka just feels like he's almost like the offlane hero now, and Centaur is playing mid. Like, even though top net worth is Kunkka, although I guess part of that is the Aghanim Scepter buff. Centaur just having so much impact in this game right now. So Assault into Heart, potentially. So what does Kunkka go for? And why hasn't he sold this Assault? Does he know his teammate has it already?
I don't know. I think Kunkka should just probably buy a Daedalus here. Get some more damage. Quickly, having Cleave that just one-shots the Lycan army in BKB is really, really high value.
Unless it kills
I would like
you.
To see that. He's going Shiva. That's another solution. You get armor. So defensive solution against Lycan and all the burst that they're trying to put on him. And it gives him a way of being annoying for all this zoo stuff.
Oh, the 40-minute mark here. They really want this outpost.
Oh, last hero. I got the blink off.
Centaur is going to blink.
Oh, don't tell me he's getting... Okay, it's not getting it.
No. Reaper's Scythe will cancel it. And eventually he will die.
He doesn't buyback.
And it's funny that the outposts were still split after all that. They never took it over there. Very interesting. But I don't know how much that even matters at 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal right now. It's honestly probably more about the map control now than the experience. You're still going to grab it if you can, right? Like, everything adds up, but more important thing, the Centaur kill is definitely worth more than an outpost.
Pikachu
at minute 10
tipping Tusk because he did not hold on to his Walrus Punch there. As we're seeing some tier 4 items coming. What do you think of Prince's Knife? Is this like one of the worst neutral items, or am I crazy? Usually.
I don't know about this attack projectile speed. Like, when that really feels like it matters, you know? Because the hex part is nice, but...
over his... The other one. Whatever it's called. the Mindbreaker. Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
really
I
good.
think you should probably put the Princess Knife on Wyvern, honestly. He has a super high range attack that's guaranteed to land, and then you can get the Hex out of that, keep Weaver with an attack speed item that silences when he opens. So I would agree with that.
Like
All
an
right, they're going to pop
ulted.
Shapeshift. They're trying to get in here.
They popped it.
They have a really good ward in the
I
Radiant
hear it.
base. They just need to
Dark
jump.
Rift bringing Underlord back. They're going to find Kunkka. Still has BKB. Is only the 5-second duration now, and looks like Lycan
Okay.
will be completely wasted.
Nothing.
Ooh,
Spell
Spell Prism.
Prism.
Oh,
Good item.
that's a Necro item, if I've ever seen one.
I think he might want to hold onto his Craggy Coat, but I'm not sure.
Really?
Craggy Coat is
Radiance.
super good on
Wow.
Necro because he doesn't
41
really
radiance.
care that much about attacking, but the armor is crazy value. 12 armor is so much.
Oh yeah, I understand. It's more that the other item is.
He's going to switch to
God
Timeless
tier.
Relic though for now. I don't know about that one.
Oh, Timeless Relic's really good too. Tusk getting caught off here. It's like he's gonna be the first to fall, and at 5v4, you have to think Empire is now on the defensive. No Dark Rift though for Under. He used that offensively. And
Trans is in
might
an
be getting
awful
chased down
spot here.
Oh!
That was
TP'd
really
and actually got rooted.
fucking
Next
close.
is tier 2. Might be dead anyway though. The dust reveals. Boat
Ghost Scepter?
connects. Ghost Scepter keeping him alive just
He
a
is
little bit
buying a
longer.
lot
Hey,
of
he false
time.
promise. Is that the first one we've seen this entire game? It might
Second
be, and it will not be enough to save his life.
He's fine.
Unfortunately, maybe 3 times the charm here for our Oracle boy.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Have we seen? I don't think we've seen Torrent Storm either. Am I crazy? In that last fight, maybe we did.
Don't think I saw
hard.
it. Yeah, it's easy
It's
to
really
miss.
good. What do you
it's
think of
not
the
like
Ags,
there's
though?
fucking water everywhere.
Yeah, it is very easy to see. I will admit, it's not like the Ember Spirit looking like Lycan thing.
Right. Yeah, very subtle.
Maybe with the next cosmetic, it'll change the Torrent Storm. Who knows? Minotaur Horn. That's a nice.
It's 300
item.
gold
That's a
for
bunch of
Pikachu
strength.
killing the Necros.
Free BKB. Timeless Relic for him as well. So you're saying you do not like Timeless Relic on Necro this game?
It's obviously really good, right? The debuff duration for his Reaper to last a little bit longer, and especially the spell damage when he uses Ghost Shroud and everything. It's nice. I'm not going to say it's not good, but I still think you might get more value out of putting the Timeless Relic on Tusk. He has 2 really good stuns. He has Snowball and Punch, and he took the Punch talent. And then you could give Necro either the Craggy Coat or maybe even the Minotaur Horn, just so he has another defensive tool, right?
Yeah. Minotaur Horn would be great on him. I mean, Necro could take almost any of these items.
Oh wait, do they have one? Yeah, they do have one. It's on Underlord.
So I don't know if this is bugged, but when I
Even
clicked
Spell
on the
Prism
Dire
on Necro.
team, yeah, I don't see Spell Prism. Why don't I see that in the shop?
I think Lycan uses it with Shapeshift, and then he swaps in Ninja Gear. That's how
Yeah,
they're
that's
using
fair.
it right now. That's also okay.
I mean, that ultimate is probably the most important in the game. I just have a hard time. I don't know. Necro can take any of the items, I suppose, but Spell Prism on him, in theory, is God tier as well. I mean, Spell Prism is, for a tier 4 item, might be the best, actually. And in terms of Flicker, is that even good this game? The Dispel is really good against certain heroes, but against... I mean, does
How
it
is
take off Searing
Flicker-
Chains? I don't think so.
It doesn't. It doesn't remove roots. So the text on it is a bit weird because it doesn't sound the way it actually works. It's not intuitive when you read the text. So the wording says dispels debuffs and blinks you to a random spot. But what it should say is blinks you to a random spot, then dispels debuffs.
Right.
So it tries to blink
if you can't
first,
blink, you can
and if
never
it
do
can't blink, you can't dispel.
Mm-hmm.
So every root counters this item. It's a bit weird. You just need to know. Just like everything else in Dota, it's just like, haha, you didn't
just
know.
need to know. Oh,
Or cool.
we have the initiation. There's the false promise onto the Tusk. Gonna snowball, buy as much time as possible. There's a newly picked up root. Extra root. Oh my god, the boat is coming in, unable to take out Wyvern though. He's still at half HP. Necro completely decimated. Dark Rift has to be used defensively on himself. Gets X'd. The ultimate counter we talked about, a 3 for nothing. And this game just is not looking good anymore for Empire, despite
really
being in
isn't.
the driver's seat for the majority of it.
Yeah, so they had this like insane mid-game timing, right? But now their defensive items are starting to fall off. The Crimson Guard is getting weak, the Greaves are getting weak relatively, and on the other side you have the Weaver picking up Satanic plus Crystallis. Your Kunkka is starting to get some items. Even the Ember now has the Veil. Everything just adds up on the Radiant with amplification and damage. And Empire were totally out of position on that as well. They committed so hard to try to kill a Wyvern who was already Cold Embrace Glimmered. It's not happening. And then they pile on top of each other and just get full-on wombo combos. Tough times for them. Legacy.
This tower will be going bye-bye, and the first Rax is likely to fall as well. 40 seconds for Necro, does have buyback available. We'll use it right now. There's the Pit of Malice. Of course, like we talked about, it's the 25 talent, so it's an extra root timing. Seeing the Winter's Curse being used on 2 heroes, more defensively than anything, not doing a whole lot of damage. Lightless, no ultimate for another 40 seconds. Gets off the Yules just in time on the Centaur. So it looks like the Minotaur Horn was not enough to keep him alive. Kunkka falls on the backside. Looks like their sights are set onto Centaur, so that's 2 for nothing. Of course, both still have buybacks if needed.
Yeah.
But...
for nothing. A lane of racks and 2 buybacks. That's
true. Melee racks
it looks like
fall.
nothing, but it really wasn't nothing. It was a lot. But I know what you mean.
Thank you, Cinder.
My job is to make you look stupid.
Thanks for backseating, as usual.
Yeah, no
Biggest
problem.
backseater in Dota right here.
Kill Roche has got to be the plan for Empire now. This is how they get back. They get Refresher. There's all the juice on Roche right now. All 4 items are available.
All right, time to get that Aghanim Scepter for Lycan. Let's see.
Yep,
Let's
that's
bite
a
some
no
Necrophos.
You know who you give it to? You give it to Underlord.
Tusk.
You give it to Underlord.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah,
I think
Underlord,
you do.
it's a very... You win one fight, you just win the game, actually, because of so much
I think you
damage.
give it to Underlord now. You can give it to Tusk and try to make a kick play where you force people so far away from Wyvern that they can't save it. That's also a possibility. I think
Or
that
just
is
kick Wyvern
probably...
away.
I don't know who they both have an inventory slot. Maybe they're fighting over it on voice. It goes to Underlord.
Dire's top
Okay.
tower is under attack.
Very good. So essentially what this does, correct me if I'm wrong, his passive is now an aura, and half of the damage that you get from the aura is distributed to your teammates, but it also lasts longer. I believe it's like from 40 to 100 seconds or something.
And it also
like
gives
that.
half of your permanent, right?
Oh, does it? I didn't know that.
It just says causes
that
bonus
true?
damage to be granted to nearby allied units and allied heroes. Sorry.
All right, let's see.
The kill damage is also bonus damage, right? It's still bonus
Tusk is
damage.
at plus 65, plus 82 right now.
Yeah.
You do the math. I can't do it. It's too
Oh
hard.
shit! Damn, I didn't pay enough attention in school. I think that didn't use the permanent.
Life didn't prepare you to figure out the numbers.
I think the permanent
on
wasn't
Underlord
counted
Ags.
there. If my math in the moment was right, I think it was only of the temporary bonus damage that Tusk got half.
Okay.
It's just one of those things you have to know, you know? Like, it doesn't really say it, so...
It doesn't say it, but I did not think it was like that, so I was technically correct, as
Centaur.
always, when it comes to
Good.
Aghanim Scepter.
Bader legs.
Oh. Looks like Wyvern might be caught out. The Centaur Stampede will keep him safe into the blink. Centaur still going for that heart. Has had that queued up forever now. Went AC in between. Could go for Ags himself. I mean, that might be the play, actually. I feel like that is the better item this game, for sure. It's all about just surviving these fights.
Okay, Dark Rift trying to catch Emberbot. He got out.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big commitment. That kind of gave up a lot of the map pressure that they have. Now they have to run out to all of their lanes again, giving up that ground they just gained. They still have insane warding right now, like really, really good wards for the Dire. Should give them an opening. They see everything bot. They know exactly what's coming their way. Underlord TPing to the outpost, but showing it, and they just back off again. They didn't catch anybody.
We're at the 50-minute mark, so that's outpost for each respective side again. Again, like you said, doesn't really matter that much at this stage. It's more about the bounty runes than anything else. Necro's still with the Aegis. Going towards the Octarine core now.
So now he's getting
And these
that.
heroes are getting so farmed.
Yeah. It's a very close game still. Oh, Abyssal.
Oh!
Punch.
Abyssal, very strong, and Ember dies. 120 seconds. He is dead. He picked up an Ags manually, by the way. By manual, I mean he purchased it. Very strong Ags as well. I don't know. How good is this Ags on support Ember? I haven't really thought about that. Does it matter? One way or the other?
Yeah, it does. He has a lot of spell damage with Veil, plus that. He's level 25 as support Ember. It's actually a
True.
super high damage output hero right now. drops all the remnants with Veil, with the Spell Amp talent, with Vessel on top of it all. Yeah, it's good damage for sure. The alternative option, what you see 4 Embers do sometimes, is by auras. I think it's almost criminal that the Radiant don't have a Vlad's in this game, I would say.
There's Abyssal again onto Centaur. Like, okay, wait, we can't actually kill him. He's a fat, juicy Centaur. They're going to go on top of Wyvern, though, and there's another Abyssal, I believe. That is on Underlord. Layer it quite nicely and able to take him out. Centaur now on the run, uses Stampede. See if they can get a lucky back here. Oh.
Just
nice line of sight there from the tree.
Turned into Edward Cullen just in the wrong moment.
What? Is that a Twilight joke?
Holy shit, you got it.
Oh god, I just revealed that I know who Edward Cullen is.
Exposed.
Oh no. You know, the only reason I know this is because the author, who I don't even remember the name of anymore, went to the same high school as me.
Oh,
so,
I thought you were going to play it off as the only reason I know is because my girlfriend loves Twilight.
No, we all hate it. This is an anti-Twilight and anti-Apple.
When you say we all, do you mean also your pets?
Establishment. Yes. Of course. You think I would own a pet that likes Twilight? Come on now.
I don't know.
Cinder.
I don't know if it's in your
Apple.
control.
Oh, why? Oh, he's going to get caught. This is a huge kill. Does have buyback, but still. It just shows how fast they can kill this Wyvern if they get the lockdown, which they have now with the double Abyssal and the Sheep Stick.
Yeah, that'll converge you. That's the Team Edward play right there.
God, I hate you.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
You know, can I admit something to you? I actually read the first book.
Oh, you did?
So
I watched the first movie only when it came out in the cinema. When was that? I don't even know.
Huh?
Was I still in high school when that came out? Probably. I think I was.
I've never been so embarrassed reading a book before. Like, as I'm reading, I was cringing, you know? As it looks like Pikachu will get stunned out of his TP.
Oh, nicely done.
Very nicely done from James. That was super high-level play.
The extra high-level play would be carrying detection.
True.
But
that comes secondary.
Mastery might actually just run into him. Lightless will. He's in trouble.
There you go. Into the slow. And Pikachu has to use his Torrent Storm.
He's super dead.
And it's not going to do anything. And he is dead. 135 seconds. They're finding pickoffs left, right, and center. Lycan, he's smoked up thanks to, I believe it's the Ninja Gear, in fact. Gets Winter's Curse. It's only on 1, though, so this is actually a big turnaround potential here for Empire. Of course, buybacks are available, like we talked about. The Ember Spirit will be the first to fall. 4 dead right now. They're going to have to expend massive buybacks.
Everybody has the buybacks, though.
Wyvern bought back, but again, they know his ult is down, so they don't really fear him at the moment. Anyway, back to my story. Twilight, Cinderin. I read the first book, and I could not believe how bad it was. Oh, here's an interesting tidbit about the high school. So she didn't go to my high school the same time as me. She's older. But I did hear there was a quote from a teacher that I also had as a teacher. At the time, I think she like failed English class or something. She didn't do very well in English.
Oh, that would explain.
And his quote
it.
is,
the book
she's a very bad writer. Something to that effect. The literal teacher said that. But she's also now like a billionaire, so maybe not a billionaire, but close to it.
That sounds like a stretch.
I mean, is it a stretch if she's okay? If she has $200 million, which I do believe she probably has, like something like that, is that a stretch to say she's a billionaire?
Yes,
I know it's a lot more.
To be a billionaire, you need to have $1 billion.
Yeah, but
that's the definition of a billionaire.
To us plebeians,
this is a binary thing, Shannon. It's binary. You either have it or you don't. You're not a millionaire if you have 200,000 either.
Can you stop trying to be logical for a moment here? Can you please?
What you try to discuss is whether you're a millionaire if you have $1 million. Do you need to have it in cash or can you have it in assets?
Well,
usually the definition is you can
have
it in assets.
Now, this is the problem I've always had. Okay, let's say you call yourself a millionaire. You could have $1 million or you could have $999 million. That's a big difference. Okay.
Yeah, usually you would say you're a multimillionaire when you have more than one.
Okay, so 2 million is multi-millionaire.
Nah, you're not. It's not multi with 2. Then you're a bi-millionaire. A billionaire.
Okay, so multi is like 3 or 4 then, right? Either way, not that much.
3 or more. Yeah. It's like if you play pinball, multi-ball is always more than 2.
I'm gonna look at what's her name.
It's actually not the case, but whatever.
Twilight author. We're gonna do this live. Stephanie Meyer. Stephanie Meyer net worth. Oh boy, we're gonna have to. Oh, okay, another pause just in time. Thanks to the players for letting us go through with this.
Great story.
Net worth
really.
125 million. I wasn't too far off. I said 200. Close enough.
Dude, the fact that you're close is a problem. How did you know?
Why? Why is that a problem? It's just a guess. I mean, look at it this way. Harry Potter is God tier, right? What's Her Face has done amazingly. The movies, the books, and everything in between.
Would you say she's J.K. Rowling and Doe?
Yeah, J.K. Rowling, whatever. She's definitely a billionaire. Twilight is like 10% of that. Of course, most of it is awfulness. It's the 10% awfulness of Harry Potter. So she has 125 million. Easy.
This is my favorite conversation I'm never going to reference in my life again.
Almost a billionaire. She'll get there one day, I'm sure, through investments and whatnot. In America, anything's possible. As it is now on pause, 8K network lead for Empire.
In Dota, anything is possible too. This game has been everywhere, and we have no idea who's going to win or why.
Thank you, Cinder, bringing amazing analysis as always. This is Empire Hope, by the way, not actual Empire. So I just don't want to say the full name every time. I kind of get annoyed by that.
We could just say Empire.
It's a little pet peeve of mine. Empire. True. Could do that. Is anybody not level 25 yet? Let's see. Wyvern is 21.
And Oracle.
And Oracle.
Yep.
Oracle has used 3 ultimates by our count so far in this close to 60-minute game.
What you just saw in bot, by the way, great use of the Ember Axe as well. Secondary insane value. Obviously, the super reliable wave clear with no risk. So very useful as well. But it's not enough. They're coming in mid.
Yeah, and kind of the issue right now for Empire is you're working against 3 buybacks, but everybody on Empire does have buybacks. That's
Oracle to
Underlord. There's the false promise. Yeah. They do a lot of damage. So they're gonna have to back that horse up, it looks like. Maybe they just wait for those 60-minute items, you know? We need some Meteor Hammer action. We need some Seer Stone. It's one of my favorites.
Fallen Sky against Wyvern. Damn. That's nice.
Yeah, Fallen Sky's great.
Did it get changed? I have still not played a game that had a tier 5 item in it.
I've not had double-digit games.
I think. So...
Ask me anything. I know all about these items.
Which ones need a recipe still?
The SNY one, the Trident. And it's not a recipe, but you could say the Meteor Hammer one.
Yeah, okay. So Fallen Sky also needs like a... Oh, they're going to go on the Wyvern. He's dead.
Oh, Wyvern is dead. 140 seconds on the deck. This could be the end of the game. In fact, looks like Underlord is at very little HP, but will live through the day, at least for now. Tusk Snowball keeping everyone alive. There's the Torrent Storm going crazy as always. Very obvious spell usage, as you can see. Wyvern, actually Weaver, looks like he'll be okay for now. Necrophos still pretty healthy. Has the Shivas. 2 dead now as Kunkka falls to the ground. And Empire, despite being on the back foot in the last 10 minutes or so, looks like they're going to win this. A 4-0, make it a full team wipe, and they didn't lose one freaking hero.
Yeah. And they only have 2 buybacks, so it's over.
GG is called. We're not going to get to see the 60-minute items in there. Sad days.
That was a weird game to watch in many ways. It was entertaining, but I think there were some clear mistimings in the game. I think Empire Hope didn't really take full advantage of the timing that they had, and then they kind of got caught out, and they overextended 3 times against